Good day everyone, we are the reporters of Unit 7 Lesson 7.3. Today, we are going to discuss about the guidelines for nomination and restriction.
When we are in a conversation, there are cues we need to observe when signaling the beginning or end of a certain topic. This involves the speech acts of nomination and restriction. Thus, this will give you guidelines on how to correctly nominate or restrict during discussions. When initiating a new topic, you can use phrases like moving on to another point or shifting gear to discuss. For wrapping up a topic, consider using expressions such as to wrap things up or in conclusion. Combining these verbal cues with attentive nonverbal signals such as appropriate body language can enhance the overall flow of your conversation. Let's quickly outline what we want to achieve in this lesson. In this lesson, our objective includes mastering the skill of effectively employing nomination and restriction in various communication scenarios. By the end of this session, you should feel confident in your abilities to seamlessly introduce new topics, using nomination and conclude discussion with precision through the artful use of restriction.
Before we proceed to our certain guidelines, we have here some words and definitions that we might know and added to our vocabulary. First, explicitly means that stated or shown in a clear and detailed manner, leaving no room for confusion or doubt. Nominate. Nominate is to propose a topic for discussion. Restrict, to place a limit on something. Cue, a signal to begin a speech or action. And lastly, desire, a feeling of wanting something. Let's move on to nominating and restriction participants. When nominating or restricting participants in a discussion, you have to follow certain guidelines. These are the following. A. The main speaker should state the topic that will be discussed to give participants an idea of what will be talked about. This can be done by explicitly stating the topic or asking questions about it.
To properly nominate participants in a conversation, call them by their names. As the main speaker, you may also use nonverbal cues, such as gesturing at the person to signal that he or she may already share his or her ideas.
Participants who wish to contribute to the discussion can use verbal or non-verbal cues to indicate their desire to speak. For example, a participant can raise their hand. They may also say, "May I be allowed to speak?" or "I have something to share related to that."
The last guideline would be, when other participants try to join the discussion even without nomination, the speaker may use verbal and non-verbal cues to restrict them. He or she can say, "Let me finish first, then I'll get back to your question." Or announce before the discussion starts that questions or comments will be entertained after the presentation. The speaker should also keep in mind that restricting participants should be done politely.
How should we encourage or limit people's participation in a discussion?
Here is a sample communication situation that makes use of nomination and restriction. What are your thoughts about Pedro and how he dealt with his family's financial problems? I'd like to hear your insights, Claire.
I think it was very brave of Pedro to stay optimistic about matters, even though they did not have much money. However, what really struck me was that part wherein Pedro's daughter asked him if they were ever going to have a better life.
Alright, that's an important part of the story. What else can be said about that? Yes, Fran.
That scene, I believe, goes to show that even though Pedro is optimistic and shows a happy face to his children, his daughter is well aware of that they're not financially stable. She can feel the hardship and dreams of a better life for their family. She also has this sense of uncertainty because a part of her thinks that life might not ever improve for them.
The students in the class then begin chatting to express their agreement, and some even speak up to share their thoughts on the matter. However, Miss Sanchez reacted to this. "Class, kindly keep quiet." "Yes, Robert." So, in this given example, Miss Sanchez is the higher authority. She nominates the ones who are invited to join the discussion, and she does so by calling their names. The environment is that of a group of communication, especially a class discussion. So Miss Sanchez's role is important in controlling the flow of the discussion. When the students started to talk simultaneously, she restricted them by asking them to keep quiet and by nominating another speaker.
Key points. Nomination and restriction are important factors to consider in any communicative situation. This would ensure a smooth flow of discussion within and among different groups of people.